Well, our thing is just how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired, you're 50-0, you walked away from the game, you made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now you're 43 years old, okay? I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you. It's not that you just deserve the money, because it's hard to do.
Right. I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much.
The man who once proudly called himself the best ever is now under fire. Floyd Mayweather is caught up in a major scandal, accused of running scams and teetering on the edge of financial ruin.
I did it the hard way. You know, I'm a kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7 of us living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. I just worked hard to get to where I got to in life. It's been hard work.
When Floyd dropped the pretty boy persona and rebranded as Money Mayweather, everything changed. He wasn't just a defensive genius in the ring anymore. He became a walking billboard for wealth. Boxing took a back seat, and showing off his money became his main mission.
If you want to look at guys that never got hit, Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times, ever.
Yeah. When he fought Diego Chico Corrales, which was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like there was nothing for Diego to hit, and then all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop, left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat.
That was the pretty boy Floyd Mayweather.
Pretty boy
that was
Floyd.
before he became Money Mayweather.
He turned himself into a flashy brand. The spotlight moved away from his ring skills to his millionaire lifestyle. With each fight bringing in massive paydays, he built a fortune and stood among the richest athletes on the planet.
It's just complete genius.
Yes.
First of all, from just changing his style, right? He broke his hands a lot. So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
And then he changed his name to Money. And when he changed his name to Money, he turns heel.
Yeah.
He became like this guy and everybody wanted to see him get beat.
Yeah.
And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting and he says, I'll just start boxing people who have no chance.
Hey, why not?
Floyd started his career pulling in $3 million per fight, but things exploded once he chose to go independent. That move was a game changer. He broke away from traditional promoters, handled his business his own way, and made billions. It turned him into the highest-earning athlete in the world, a financial juggernaut.
Floyd Mayweather was the highest paid athlete in the world, and you won't believe why. Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd, and after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the highest paid athlete in the world.
But all that money brought problems at home. His father said their relationship was solid before the millions came in. Once Floyd started spending wildly on cars, buildings, and luxury items, their bond started to break down. His dad said money changed him, and not for the better.
We have never had argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. You know, HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that, people get money, man, things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
As Floyd's fortune grew, so did his ego. That shift cost him friendships that had lasted for years. Even Mike Tyson spoke out, calling Floyd's arrogance a problem. Tyson said Mayweather needed a reality check, especially given how rich he was.
How do you feel about Floyd, though?
Huh?
How do you feel about
Awesome
Floyd?
fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like you was a movie star. You was a hero.
I didn't see.
And I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money? Because you're already invested. Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right. So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it?
Right.
And then when he...
Are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell you how to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. He doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Floyd also lost one of his most talented fighters, Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Tank said Mayweather kept him dependent and didn't pay him fairly, even after big money fights. Feeling used, Tank eventually walked away from the man who once mentored him.
Or I'm gonna be back asking you for money. Nah, why would I do that? I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever. Whenever you need some money, you feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up that, like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And, like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But, like, to somebody that understand, like, what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, because if I gotta put you in a position that always need me, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot. And I know you gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that, $48 of power. I'ma always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really just put me in a position to be able to, make my own thing. And I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that he said, okay, cool, I see what's going on. That's when we started taking over my career.
Tank also shared that Floyd struggled with seeing others rise above him. He accused Mayweather of being jealous of boxers earning more or getting more praise, even going as far as saying Muhammad Ali wasn't better than him.
I'm ready to say this. Okay. Out of all these guys in the history of boxing, I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing.
Okay, Ali.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights.
Yeah.
And if we really tell the truth,
well, that's what you're here for. You're here to tell the truth.
What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually. Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean, we just telling the truth. And I love Ali, of course.
Mayweather's arrogance went public. His nonstop bragging and luxury lifestyle turned many fans against him. His bold claims, like saying he was the greatest no matter what others achieved, only fueled the backlash. People grew tired of his attitude.
In all of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't. Okay, and to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Bert Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back up and won the fight.
Because of his over-the-top behavior and disregard for critics, Floyd became the most disliked figure in boxing. He often shrugged off the hate and said he didn't care. Whether in exhibition fights or not, he claimed he'd keep fighting. This attitude made fans and analysts question what really drove him.
They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And
My
like,
most expensive watch that I currently own is $18 million. One watch.
and so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes. Yeah, he creates envy, and you want him to lose, but he's not gonna.
After hanging up his gloves professionally, Floyd turned to exhibition fights. But those events were slammed by critics who believed he was damaging his legacy by facing unknown fighters just to cash in.
Floyd, what does it mean for you to go out on your terms, not on anybody else's terms, but you to make the decision, you know what, this is it, I don't care what all you guys say, I'm out of here, I'm done?
I mean, I think I just had a game plan. I had a brilliant game plan. The game plan was to be very outspoken. You know, I was born with personality. I was born with charisma. Speak my mind. Speak from the heart. You know, I don't hate or dislike anyone. I want to go out there, you know, and just do what I have to do inside that square circle. Choose a tremendous team on the outside that's going to help me take things to the next level, and that's what I did.
His exhibitions got a bad reputation for being all about the money. Critics accused him of focusing only on how much he could pocket, not on giving fans real competition or value.
And that's the shot. But you know what it is? I think obviously with Floyd, he gets the biggest percentage of the purse, isn't it?
Yeah, but he can still get the biggest percentage of the purse.
Yeah, but Ricky Hatton's gonna want more. He'll want more. He'll want more.
He'll want more.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they fought in their heyday, Floyd got more.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know what I'm saying?
No, but Floyd wants like 95% more. 90% more. You know what I'm saying? It's not like...
He's like 95, 5.
Yeah.
That's how he likes to do it, innit? Because I'm not going to lie, if Floyd fought Ricky, both of them now, catch weight, 154, O2 Arena,
it will sell out. Sell out.
That reputation took another hit when fighters like Deji and Logan Paul said they didn't get fully paid for their matches with Floyd. These claims painted a picture of someone using exhibitions to line his pockets while skipping out on financial promises.
Because I see a lot of people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but
what's like, isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you
a
don't
boxing
you
thing?
don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy
right
going,
now.
I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters. They don't have to wait for. That was the big problem in the past, is that these boxing promoters would come in and they wouldn't make as much money as they thought they were going to do, so they would stiff the fighters and not pay the guys. And that's why these regulations are in place in these different states.
As time went on, Floyd's fame began to fade. Once a titan in the ring, his offering behavior stole the spotlight. His name got dragged into a $42 million scam, and rumors swirled about shady finances. Reports even said he was stuck in Dubai over unpaid debts, a far cry from the powerful image he once held.
There was some drama going on about Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai. However, that man was at Game 5 of the Clippers game. He's claiming that he is stuck in Dubai because there's debts that he has to pay off and they're not letting him leave. And we're sitting at Game 5 and I look over and I'm like, dude, that's Floyd Mayweather. Royce takes a video of Floyd Mayweather at the Clippers game, posts it on his TikTok. It goes viral. He posts 2 videos, both go viral. And the comments, nobody is believing him. They're like, that's not really Floyd. That's a clone. Floyd's stuck in Dubai. And the crazy thing was, usually when you're at these games, they'll have like, oh, special guest, celebrity of the night. They didn't show Floyd on the thing. But we have it on camera. Go check out Royce's videos if you guys want to see it.
Floyd worked hard to build an image as the richest athlete in history. He constantly reminded the world how much money he made, insisting no one in sports could match his earnings.
What did you see when you watched that fight?
Look, Floyd needs to keep doing what he's doing, which is fighting complete tomato cans who we've never heard of before. I've never seen anybody in the history of America get so rich and so famous out of having complete wimps throwing punch at their faces. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's happened before. What about Rihanna? Shame on you. Blasphemous. I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. But, however, boxing has a misconception. Too soon? Was it too soon?
Fighter Chael Sonnen didn't hold back. He said Floyd was only doing these exhibition fights for the money. With billions earned, Sonnen questioned why Floyd would keep fighting nobodies unless it was just about the cash, calling it a betrayal.
I know that Floyd is still getting in there as recently as this weekend because he needed the money.
You think Floyd's fighting because he needs the money?
Yeah.
Really? Why? You think he blew through all of his money? Get the fuck.
Well, he blew through a lot of it, but I'm sharing for you, it wasn't what you thought it was.
He blew through it and wasn't making as much as he
they're
says.
claiming he was doing $100 million a fight, and I'm claiming for you, he in his whole career has made about $100 million. There's a very
Wow. Floyd had this long career. I could imagine him making more than $100 million.
I understand that. Floyd was not Muhammad Ali, and Floyd wasn't Mike Tyson. I got it. I know people think he made 130 in a night. I'm sharing with you, he didn't, and no boxer has. No boxer's ever made 130 million in one night. This is silly. Floyd Mayweather has closed down a mall. He has rented out the entire mall, and he spent $15 million. The proof that this happened is Floyd in a mall and Floyd with a bag of cash that probably had about 100 grand in it. He says, man, I'm a VIP, I'm a VP, I'm a VVVVIP. Do you want to know why he was whispering, guys? He was whispering so that he didn't disrupt the employees and fellow shoppers at the mall. It's okay. This is a gimmick. Floyd did everything that Floyd is supposed to do. It's strange that a 50-year-old man would continue to do what he did when he was 28 years old. That's strange.
Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn also criticized Floyd's approach. He called his fights boring and accused Floyd of caring more about pay-per-view sales than real fans. Hearn believed Mayweather had traded his legacy for easy money.
Somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000, something like that. If that.
I believe so.
We've had some bad ones, but I've seen a map. Someone posted a map yesterday. I mean, I don't know anyone that even knows Floyd Mayweather is fighting on Saturday. Who is putting the money up for these events? Like, I think that the Mayweather fights are so naff, to be honest with you. But I don't actually mind. Like, at least Aaron Chalmers will go out and he can box and he'll have a go and like whatever. but literally no one knows that is even happening. Someone has hired out the O2 Arena thinking they're going to sell out the O2 Arena with Floyd Mayweather and they are going to do a couple of 100,000 buys on pay-per-view. It's either going to get cancelled before Saturday, or someone is going to do their absolute conkers, or people are not going to get paid.
There is a little bit of embellishing that you kind of have to do in order to get your foot in the door with some of these folks, because they otherwise ain't going to deal with you. So it does require a little bit of fake it till you make it. I'm not saying that that report is true. I'm just simply saying that if there were some validity to that, that's not really the end of the world. He ain't lying about having ownership. He just may have embellished the truth about having no partners. Also, you got people calling him broke, which is crazy to me, man.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.